I know I said my next video would be week 1 predictions with no TTS, but I had to make this video after some devastating news. So what's up, ladies, gentlemen, people, extraterrestrial, aliens and everything in between? Earlier today some sad news was announced that had already been rumored for a couple weeks, but it's still sad to hear. The Hunters have officially parted ways with Ape writer, Farway 1987, Yveltal, and assistant coach Creed, but in exchange they did sign off Tank Riven from their academy team. As a Hunters fan, this news really sucks. The team was looking top 5 heading into this season, but due to the organization facing major financial issues they had to cut a ton of their players. At least they kept Leave though, however, with only one coach and much weaker DPS and support flexibility on paper, this team is definitely bumped down at least 2 spots in my rankings. Riven, however, is a good signing. His Sigma and Zarya were pretty good in Contenders, and winning the most recent season of Chinese Contenders with Team Chaser makes him a pretty promising signing. However, him alone isn't enough to make up for the losses in my opinion. Losing Farway and Yveltal is pretty bad in my opinion. Farway was showing a bit of promise near the end of the year on Zen and Ana when they started playing him, and based on his skill ceiling from Contenders I would have liked to see him stay. And Yveltal was arguably a top 3 main support in the league last year, playing a top 3 Mercy and Brig, although he was having some major behavioral issues late into the season, so his loss is more justified. And then for Ape writer, I think this is the biggest loss of the 3. His flexibility and playmaking potential would have been super sick alongside Leave, not to mention that he would have given this team extra flexibility, being able to play double hitscan and tracer hitscan comps. And Coach Creed was also a pretty big hit considering he was one of their last 2 coaches. In terms of where I think all these guys can go, there isn't a lot of options. Spark, Valiant and Charge are the only other teams who are ever interested in Chinese talent. Personally, I hope none of these guys go to the Valiant just because I don't want to see them all collapse. All 4 of these guys deserve another chance. So I've picked out where I think each one should go. For Farway, I think he could go to the Spark or Charge, but personally I prefer to see him go to Spark. Him and Irony would make a sick double flex support duo, and he might even start over Irony. His aggressive style should mold in well with players like Alfei and Shy. Then for the other 3 I could see all of them going to the Charge. With Choice A1 inactive, the Charge are a team who is desperately in need of better talent, and this blow up is a great chance to get it. I say the Charge get rid of Develop, Unique, Coach Young Jin, and Rio in exchange for Ape writer, Yveltal, Coach Creed, and from the Hunters Academy team X-Ray. X-Ray is a guy who I think is being criminally overlooked. He did so much for Team Chaser in the past 2 seasons of Chinese Contenders, getting so many final blows on Ryan, Winston and Ball. Honestly, the second best player on that team, right behind Ape writer, and I think he would make a great signing alongside Ape writer and Yveltal, who were on that same Team Chaser roster. He would at least be an upgrade to Rio, who has been so outclassed as of late. And when talking about these other hypothetical signings, Young Jin hasn't been in the pro Overwatch scene since the end of Season 2. Immediately putting him in a coaching role seems very questionable, so why not replace him with a trusted coach, being Creed, who was already with the Charge during their peak in the 2020 Summer Showdown, and with the very successful Hunters roster last season. Seems like a pretty good buff to the coaching staff if you ask me. Yveltal is a clear-cut upgrade to Unique. Sure, Unique at his peak with Element Mystic was rivaling Lee Jae-gon and beating everyone, but since then he hasn't really been at the very top, and I think Yveltal is a much better choice. Maybe they keep both because of Yveltal's behavioral issues, but either way it's a big buff to their support line. And finally, Ape writer. This guy fills in all the needed gaps at the Charge's DPS line. No Choice A1, no problem. Ape writer can fill in that tracer role and also gives you a super strong hard hit skin on the Cassidy, Widow and Dash, and he can even flex over to the Reaper and Soldier, which seem to be pretty good picks in Overwatch 2. A clear-cut upgrade to Develop, and just think about how strong this DPS line could be. whether with Choice 1 or Eileen. The Charge DPS line is gonna pop off. This new hypothetical Charge lineup would likely put them in top 3 APAC, which would be huge for this team after their extremely poor performance last year. Overall, these losses are bad for the Hunters, but honestly it could have been so much worse if we lost Leave. Hunters are still competing for around 4th or 3rd place in APAC though, with Spark and Dynasty likely being their main competitors. Excited to see where the 4 guys who got released go next and to see if this Hunters team can still be competitive, but until next time, bye bye.